And where's your Nuggets picture in the background now?
Hello, everybody. It's me and Scotty. You always yapping. You always yapping. You did last night
Well,
too.
you went and put your wall jersey on last night after we did this after the Avs game. We're doing it after a Nuggets game real fast. I'm just thinking, why don't you have your Joker jersey up there?
Well, because to be honest with you, I got an MPJ jersey that we wanted to raffle, but my daughter has it, so I'd have to go steal it from her. So she's got the jersey. So I guess
All
I'll
right,
have to get that
let
next
me
time.
let me start this right here and ask you some questions because I was at the game. I'm sitting in my hotel room in Minnesota, enjoying my old picture of me in high school. By the way,
Yeah, I see that. I see that.
that right there. If you take a snapshot, everybody, that's perfect form. Um, Give me your views going in. I know you weren't very at ease about the predicament that the Nuggets found themselves in after the first two home games. So talk to me about where you were going into this game and where you are now.
I told Nate, here, I'll tell you my straight up prediction on the radio show. I thought maybe you would have heard it, but I forgot we got the extended pregame, all that stuff. I told Nate, I thought what we would be dealing with come Monday, because Nate asked the question, what's it going to be? 2-2-3-1. What's it going to be? Right. Or are we done? And I said, I think it'll probably be 3-1 because I thought they'd get tonight, but I didn't think they'd win like this. And I wasn't quite sure. Like, I thought they'd come out. I thought Joker would have a little bleep you. I thought Jamal would have a little bleep you. But
And they did.
here's what tonight did to change my opinion about why I think Minnesota might have some problems on their hand. Jamal and KCP in particular look like the 3 days helped them, right? They actually looked healthy. Jamal could lift in his jump again. And then Joker in the second half, like I was a little like, what is going on with the shot again? Just because it kept rimming out. You know what I mean? Joker's second half was the Joker we all know. I mean, he had authority. He had finally figured out like the lift he wanted. You know what I'm saying? He had the arch he wanted on his shots again. They look like the old Nuggets to me. So I look, Scotty, I think you'll back me up. I've said it to you. I've said it on the show. I know I'm just dumb Andy who doesn't know anything. All I said though, if all the Nuggets have to do is win one, and especially this one Friday. Now Minnesota, now you ain't six in a row anymore. Now you just got your stuff handed to you in your building. And by the way, you seem to piss the Nuggets off, so you got a bunch of hard picks set on your ass. How are you going to deal with that now on Sunday? Now they're the ones thinking about stuff.
I wrote our boy Stubby. I have a running dialogue with him every game, text messaging, right? Um, but after the game, I got home. I said two big keys. They played more physical, and they actually got something off the bench. I mean, Justin Holiday, I thought was outstanding. You know, he did a good job defensively and everything, but he made a few shots, right? And I think when they just get, when the bench goes or when Joker goes away or when you're not having all the starters in, you can get two or three guys to give you something. And listen, I thought Christian Brown was solid. You could tell. In fact, I think he made one of his shots,
You
but
did.
he had opportunities to drive the basket. If they're going to put a big guy on him, drive the basket and go dunk on somebody. You know, and if he gets to that in game four, watch out. But I thought they were more physical. I told you we were talking a while ago. If you go back, if you tape this game, the first play of the game, Denver's driving down, and I think it was McDaniels. It was either McDaniels or Ant is up in Jamal's chili, and Joker sets a screen, and I mean it was a teeth rattler. I mean, he hit, he hit him, and he stopped his place. His legs buckled. And I went, okay. Second play, it was a back screen. Same thing. Got Murray in the corner. I think he hit his first three. Um, Joe and I was thinking, okay, somebody else got to be physical. We know Joker can play that way, but I thought Joker set the tone with a couple of screens early on. He said on Scott Van Pelt's after, so what's the key for game four? Getting the ball up in 2 or 3 seconds. And you're not going to do that if Murray's got to go side to side to side to side with a defender on him. So you got to peel back, somebody get that guy off of him. And Murray did that one time too, and I said it on our show today. You beat force by attacking it. And if they're going to get up in your chili at 94 feet, you got to go by him and go finish at the rim. And Murray did that a couple times, which he hadn't done in games one and two.
Well, and obviously not going to argue with your analysis. I love what you're saying, and I think we saw it. But I told you when we were chatting before we jumped on here, like to me, I was like, all right, so why didn't Aaron Gordon or someone else bring the ball up sooner? Because they weren't full court pressing when a big brought it up. The rest of them are already back, right?
Well, remember they tried one time when Joker brought up and Towns got a foul. Remember?
Yeah.
And so he kind of aside Joker just and you pick a foul him and Towns don't want fouls. He wants to shoot.
Well, and look, the Nuggets also, they were the ones with the hands in the lane. They were the ones tying up the ball. They were the ones being a pain in the butt. And let's be honest about it. You know what? So I'm dying to ask you this because we don't BS people on this thing. We'll be honest, right? So let's be honest. You've told me in the past, and you would say it on podcasts last year that you and I were doing during the Nuggets run. We always got to watch out for Tony Brothers because the NBA does not like sweeps. They just don't. And I think the Nuggets played better. I think the Nuggets earned their calls tonight. But I thought it was damn funny how Tony Brothers was not allowed the crap from the other night, where basically the Wolves were allowed to play half a football game.
Well, that's true too. I thought they got a whistle. The funny thing is, at halftime it was 17-9 free throws, and by the end of the game, I think Denver shot 4 free throws in the fourth, and they shot 16. So and that's another thing the NBA does. If you're blowing somebody, they don't like blowouts. And so whoever's getting blown out, get ready to shoot tons of free throws in the fourth quarter. That's what happened. But no, they were fine. I will say this, and Minnesota won a challenge too. The same guy got overturned 3 times. Come on,
yeah,
now.
How about that?
Come on now, come on now. Make a mistake once. You had 3 of your calls overturned.
Yes.
Come on now.
I know, but it's
and that wasn't Tony Brothers too. It was
the other guy. It was that side guy.
And Jason Goebel, who how he's in my opinion, how he's roughing in the second round of the playoffs is beyond me.
All right, I do want to play a little audio for you real quick. This is coming from Michael Malone, and here we are trying to make things. We're learning how to do this thing and add some technology. By the way, we're seeing, if you're on Twitch, we're seeing the comments. Hello, all Gatekeeper. Hello, Cole. Those are the 2 with us at least commenting right now. We'll see who else decides to jump on tonight a little bit later. But you and I had to talk about this after this was done. This is something Michael Malone said from the podium after the game that we wanted to play for you. And tell me if you think, did this have an effect? Because, there was a lot of yapping for 3 days. Good yapping for Minnesota, bad yapping for the Nuggets. Here's what Michael Malone said he did with that yapping.
You're always testing and finding out about human nature and what guys are made of. And when your backs are against the wall. And I had an edit made. And I wasn't sure if I was going to show it to the guys. And I showed it to DeAndre Jordan. And he said, oh, hell yeah, we got to show it to the guys. And it was a 2-minute edit of every talking head in this country saying that the series is over. The Nuggets are done. It's a wrap. They're toast. Minnesota's a better team. All the big personalities. And you know who they are. And not that they were wrong. This is not a shot at those people because after the first 2 games, probably would have said the same thing. But I didn't want to show it because most of the time I don't give a damn what they say. But I knew that this would maybe strike a chord. It was deep inside you. To say, hey, man, like everybody and their brother is saying you're out, you're done. You guys can't play with this team. They're better than you. If that doesn't resonate within you as a competitor, I don't know what will. And so, yes, our guys answered the bell, and they showed me that they still believe. That was my biggest question. Do you believe getting on that plane on Thursday morning at 10 o'clock? Are you going to believe that we can go up there and win 2 games? And we're halfway there. Got a long way to go.
There you go. So what do you think? Do you think, I mean, you and I both know, and I think that video probably helped, but come on now. I still believe this is a pretty tight-knit team. And to have everybody watch Shaq decide to tell Joker, I don't think you're the MVP, I don't think that hurt anything either midweek.
I think that was disrespectful, and I think that bothered somebody. I know it probably bothered Aaron Gordon. You told me yesterday Stephen A. said something like,
he said, I'll repeat it because I'm going to tweet at his ass when this thing goes the other way. He said he wanted Jamal Murray to play tonight and no suspension because he said he doesn't want any excuses when the Wolves make the Nuggets irrelevant. irrelevant was his words. So you just got a 30-point ass whooping on your team, Stephen A. Who's irrelevant now?
Yeah,
Where's
but
the boy now?
and now I'll give you some inside stuff. I came back and they usually have food when we stay over, and we can go in there and eat with the guys and everything and stuff. And I sat with one of the coaches. There wasn't no celebration. There wasn't people letting out a breath going, now we're satisfied. It was very professional. A little bit like when they won the Lakers series last year to go to the finals. There wasn't a big party. There wasn't a whole lot of celebration about that. They hadn't done what they got the playoffs for. I would say this, if nothing more, for all the people that watch this or watching now or will watch this, they restored hope with how they played tonight. They showed Minnesota you're not completely invincible. And you did put yourself in a hole, and now you just got to go out and listen. You find a way to win game 4, it's a 3-game series. First team to 2.
And 2 of them are in your building.
And 2 of them will be in your building. And it's already going to be crazy Tuesday in Ball Arena. But if they win game 4, do you know how that place is going to be lit on Tuesday night? It's going to be stupid.
Look, so Scotty, I'm kind of curious because, to me, what I think is funny, and there's another reason why I don't think there's any celebrating. This is going to be a physical series. This is some old school basketball now. Okay, the Wolves got after the Nuggets game 2. The Nuggets came right back. You and I talked about last night during the Avs game. What do we want to see out of the Nuggets? And I said I want to see what the Avs did in the third period to the Stars, where Jamie Benn was worried about where Josh Manson was most of the night. He was more worried about not getting his head taken off instead of playing a little bit of hockey there at the end of that sucker.
Well, you watched it when Manson put him up in the bench. I'm like, okay. And you know what? When you're getting your butt kicked like the Avs were most of last night, and then you put a third period together, it does give a team some confidence. And it's the same. This game was last night's third period, except you won the game. I think this will bring because I think the heads were down, man. I go back to that game Monday night when they lost. That felt like Baton Death March. I mean, it felt like everybody's head that. Not only for the health of guys like Murray and KCP that you pointed out, I think for the mental psyche, it almost was good that you had that 2 or 3 days, and then you let ESPN and their agenda go crazy, who've been talking Denver out of the playoffs. They had Denver losing to Phoenix. They had Denver losing to LA. They had Denver losing to Miami all last year. I mean, go back when they split those first 2 games in Miami. Oh, it's over. Miami's got them now.
Dude, Scotty, here's the hilarious thing about ESPN that they can't even hide is you bring that up, and after basically saying the Suns would beat the Nuggets, and then the Hachimura switch was going to be the end of the Nuggets, and who was it? The Bam Adebayo is going to be too much for Joker and all this. Naz Reid. Look, Naz Reid's had a pretty nice defensive series against Joker, but guess what? They started sitting some picks on Naz Reid. Joker always does to me. He figures out where he's going to get you. And second half of that game, after Joker got everybody set up and everybody feeling good, then Joker got a little of his own too. I just feel like it was funny to me because every time last year, everybody had the other team beat the Nuggets. And then when the Nuggets lost to the Timberwolves, then the big narrative on Get Up or whatever, everybody's like, they had to play the worst. That was the worst weakest title ever won by an NBA team. They played a 8 seed. They played 2 8 seeds. They played all the guys that stupid ESPN built up to be just the championship. And all we heard about was heat culture. They're champs. They're winners. They're this, they're that. Now all of a sudden you want to call everything weak. And by the way, if it was so weak, then why did the Nuggets only lose 4 games the whole time? Yeah, it was probably a pretty easy path. A, they were the number 1 seed in the West. That's how the damn thing's supposed to work, is that you're supposed to get it reseeds to where you're supposed to get the lower stuff. And B, they only lost, what, 3 total freaking games through 12? in the Western Conference to get to the championship. So maybe it was easy, but it's not like they had a hard time doing it either. Just shut up. Just quit. It's the move in the finish line. And you know what? But you know what? I'm happy, Scotty. I hope all the crap this week and the stuff with Joker midweek especially reminded these guys that you can have a chip on your shoulder, because guess what? Still ain't nobody celebrating you. You are not Tom Brady yet. You are not the Chiefs. They are not wanting to talk about your greatness. They can't wait for you to be gone. And you know what? I'm just that guy. I'm that kind of annoying guy where if you can't wait for me to be gone, then maybe I'm going to make myself comfortable here a minute. Maybe I'm going to sit my ass down on this chair. I'm going to crack open another beer and sit here and bother you a little bit more if that's what you need. So go on and win the damn thing again. Why not?
Now,
I didn't feel this. Look, I feel really good after tonight because I feel like they played finally the way they need to play.
listen, I've been saying forever that ESPN has an agenda. They showed their colors, their true colors, I thought last year when every single ESPN vote, they had like 32 votes. And only the European ESPN representative voted for Joker as the MVP. All 31 are Embiid. Really, you got no one else? And Embiid was fine. I mean, he scored. He's a better overall, just pure scorer than Nikola Jokic. He's not a better overall player.
No. And frankly, I thought it was hilarious. Did you see someone did a great job? And look, I like Ant. I like SGA. I get why these are exciting young players. I'm not trying to take shots at them in order to build Joker up. But somebody goes, here's the SGA highlight tape that you missed. And it was like 1,000 free throws it was one free throw after another that helped get to all those 30-point games that Shaq was crying about.
The playoffs started. I saw a stat. Joker had played 15 more playoff games than Joel Embiid has in their careers, and yet Joel Embiid has shot 164 more free throws.
Well, there you go.
I mean, come on, man.
I know.
But whatever. I mean, he's a big guy, and I guess he has to take it. Anyway, hey, listen, it's one win, but 2-1 sounds better than 3-0, obviously. And now it gives you hope. I'm going to tell you what, Sunday I think it's going to be a knockdown drag-out. I think it's a ball buster.
I said this is your kind of basketball. It's like you always like to say, it's tap time. Because look, the Wolves are going to come out. They're going to be looking for the hard pick. I think this game probably gets a little nasty on Sunday, frankly.
Hey, I had to tell the tap story. Tyler and D-Mac had no idea what tap meant. So I had to come back and they said, well, listen, we really don't know what that means. I said, okay. So I had to explain it. And then the day before we were shooting, I was sitting
explain it to everybody here. Might as well tell it on here too. Because I don't know how many new listeners we got.
So I told Aaron Gordon this story before the game started today. Also,
nice. I like it.
When I was playing the Pistons, who was a physical team, some would say dirty, whatever you want to say, but we were a physical team. You didn't screw around with us. I mean, we were going to hit you. But if things weren't going good and we weren't playing aggressive, all it had to do was start with one guy. Somebody would all of a sudden say, hey, it's time. Tap. And that means when no one coming down the lane clean, wasn't no one coming off screens clean. When we went down to get Isaiah or Joe or Vinny off on a screen, that guy guarding them was going to be off of them because we were going to tap. We were going to put a forearm and body on them. And so that was our signal that it's time to get physical. Tap. So I told Aaron that. He goes, all right, thanks, Scott. I like that. And I went, okay. I told the right guy, right? But listen, Denver got beat on. Denver got beat up in the first two games.
They did.
And they just sat and took it. And tonight they were the more physical team. And so far, 3 wins. The 3 wins of this series have gone to the more physical team.
Well, here's what I am curious to watch come Sunday, because you talked about it. All those guards that wanted to be like stink on shit on Jamal so far, they all got heavy picks set on them by Joker, right?
Plays the game. Joker lit up. I think it was Ant and McDaniels. I think it was Ant was the first time. He hit Ant so hard. I mean, he stood up. He was down low trying to be Mr. Physical, and he stood him up. I mean, and I'm like, okay. I said,
Well,
that's the hardest pick by a Nugget this series. And to me, that set the tone.
yeah, man, it's gonna. And look, Christian Brown,
And by the
bottom
way,
picker.
I sat and had dinner after the game with the coach, and I brought that up to him. And he goes, he said, Joker's screens were unbelievable tonight.
Well, hey, man, because you know what, I do believe there's a special connection between Jamal and Joker. I do. I mean, yeah, because Joker knows. I mean, look, with all due respect to the rest of them, and I'm not trying to pull a Shaq here, but Joker knows the other dude that ain't afraid to take a shot at the end of the game is 27. 27 and 15, no, it's got to be them, right? And so I think Joker knows, hey, man, you're going to bug my guy with his bad calf. I'm going to let you feel it. And and he made them all feel it tonight. And I love it. You have to make them feel it tomorrow night.
Smiling watching that.
What's that?
Tell me you weren't sitting at home smiling when you were watching that.
Yes, because I kept saying, make them feel you. You and I talked about this a bunch. You know what I love? Playoff anything is not hard to figure out. It's the more physical team in anything wins. The team that runs the football and can force their will, and they win in the playoffs every year. I don't care how complicated the offenses get. What did Kansas City do to be better? They didn't have receivers. They found a run game, right? And they found their tight ends. The Broncos, when they won their Super Bowls, Mark Schlereth tells us the story all the time. Gilbert Brown was looking around at who was going to cut his knee out at the end of that first one. He didn't want no part of tackling anymore. Mark said they chopped his big ass down like a tree every time, helped him back up, and he did not want anybody at his knees anymore. Today, Jokic goes and throws picks. Every one of those guys is going to be looking for Jokic the next day. They do not want to run into the big Serbian, the big oak there from Serbia. There's no way that felt good. They showed 3 or 4 replays on the TV, Scotty, with guys wincing in pain. You could see the air coming out of them as they run into even just a part of Joker. So, and the Avs, we talked about the Avs last night. The Avs got rough in the third period and they smothered the Stars. If you play physical in any playoff, you're gonna be the team that usually wins.
Which leads me to my rookie year before I was traded to Atlanta. I'm playing with the New York Knicks. And Hall of Fame and legendary coach of the Knicks at that time was Hubie Brown. And he was talking about something. We came back in the game, but we got kind of physical and we won the game. But he goes, isn't it funny, the more you watch the league, that the more physical team tends to get the calls? And I never had heard that before, and I didn't know. I was like, what? I'm like, yeah, because if you're physical all the time, they can't call everything, eventually. And so they call one offensive foul out of 10. That's good because you just got 9 good shots open, and if you hit, 5 of them, there you go. So what he said, it's funny how the more physical team usually gets the calls.
Well, now we see who's going to be physical come Sunday.
And that'll be
you get the one Sunday, and it's all different.
And tomorrow in Ball Arena, who's going to be more physical?
Well, and the Avs, you know what? We had Mike Rupp on, who was an old Minnesota Wild. Rupp was a little bit of Rupp was kind of like Miles Wood in his day, and Rupp made me feel good. I asked him, what have the Avs adjusted defensively? Some of you and I have talked about. And he talked about everything that we talked about, man. You can't have loose turnovers. You can't have loose defense. It can't be fire wagon hockey. It's so funny because with all the Avs skill, you would think that they would thrive, that any team that tried to just play wide open with them would get killed. But for some reason, when the Avs go a little too wide open, like they did in the second period last night when they gave up 3 goals of their own to make it 4-0, and you get the pat, they're able to make the complete cross-ice passes and all that stuff you and I always talk about. That
not one guy down, not one guy reaching.
Right.
One time, the defender in the middle, I don't know if it might have been McCarr, or him or Taves. They didn't even know a guy was behind him.
It was McCarr. It was on the power play. McCarr had no idea there was a guy just setting up camp right behind him on the backside post. Because again, it's happened too many times where they've looked around and they've been like, what the. And Rupp talked about it. Rupp talked about what a lot of you and I were talking about towards the end of the year, where he said there were times where I was watching their defensive assignments and I was trying to figure out how a team that had been together as long as they had couldn't figure out who had who. So even he's been impressed with their turnaround, and now I think everybody thinks that they're probably going to be, they're feeling like a cup favorite. And I think the champs have awoken. This is crazy, man. I don't remember, I feel like we've only gotten the Avs and Nuggets in the same round. Like it's usually the first round and one of them usually kind of bows out. It's sort of nutty having both these teams still going this late into May.
It's kind of cool though.
Oh, it's big time cool.
Because Ball Arena will have Saturday night, Monday night, Tuesday night action.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
By the way, so here's a good question from Lou. He asked, is Reggie okay? We all saw, so Reggie goes for the sweet dunk, but then kind of limped off. Did you hear anything? Is he all right? Did something just tighten up?
I think he's got a bad ankle that just, he put that old man jump in it. Listen, when you're at his age, like me, I told you last time I dunked and I was at a kid's game. I reached down and palmed the ball, took a step, jumped up and dunked. And I felt a little like a needle prick in the back of my Achilles. I went, not doing that no more. When you're a certain age, jumping ain't, hey. But he dunked it. He got him.
Well, I know, but I almost wished he had because he was, look, man, all the dudes that looked hurt or old, Reggie, KCP, and Jamal all looked all right tonight. And then to have him that was the only bummer about the night. By the way, how about this? Our guy, all gatekeeper, saying Lehkonen with an anytime goal tomorrow. I was talking to Nate again, dude. I still don't understand how that wasn't Lehkonen's goal last night. The Nichushkin goal? Come on,
man. Well,
we got to change that.
The Nichushkin streak alive, which ties somebody, blah, blah, blah.
I don't care.
I agree. That's Lehkonen.
Because Nichushkin doesn't care. Like, if you're Nichushkin, do you feel like you scored a goal? You ain't going, I scored a goal.
No.
So, anyway. All right, my man. Well, we'll let you, so everybody, here's the deal. I got some boys coming over tomorrow, but we could do a little of this with them here if you want to watch it or whatever, but we'll try to get after some Avs tomorrow too. And then what time's the game Sunday now? I forgot. Is it at 8:00 again?
I thought it was 7 here. I thought it was a little earlier Sunday, but I'll check and see.
God, I hope you're right. Well, so you guys will have to fly right home after those. So we probably can't do one of these that day.
No, but we'll get one maybe Tuesday. And now that we figured out how to do this thing and people like it, I don't even know there's anybody watching.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're not going viral or anything, but considering that it's damn near midnight on a freaking Friday into a Saturday, yeah, we got a few eyes on us.
Hey, call all your junk friends and tell them to tune in tomorrow sometime between the second period and the end of the game.
Let's see here. 6:30 Mountain Time, they're saying. Or 6 Mountain Time.
So 7:30 here, 6:30 there.
So there we go. All right. We'll look, for the 275 people that jumped on, we appreciate it because it's Friday night. Dude, you and I got up to 900 the first time. We just got to get going a little earlier in the night, but these damn, if we could quit being the West Coast for everybody. Although I guess the Avs game 5 now in Dallas will be at 6 p.m. So that'll at least be a normal. You know what else I'm tired of? I'm tired of the game before is going to overtime and screwing everything up, man. Drive me about damn crazy. We had to go to True TV last night to get that thing started.
Who won the Edmonton game?
Edmonton ended up winning in overtime quickly, and it was brutal because Ian Cole, who plays for the Canucks, the old Av, was set up in his crease trying to play defense, and the puck went off him and into the Canucks net. So it was, I don't know, dude. It was bad. By the way, Pulp Fiction's on. This is one of those movies. Do you ever get caught? This is where we kind of go a little nutty. We'll get out of here, though. Do you ever get caught? The weird HBO movies, I get caught late at night sometimes. Like, I'm ready to go to bed. I see some movie where we're like, what is this weird stuff? Not that Pulp Fiction is, I've seen Pulp Fiction, but come on, it's a little weird. Yeah. And then I get watching some weird ass movie. There was some Scarlett Johansson movie last night called Under the Skin, where she was like an alien just driving around killing dudes. And and it just was, but like she was being sexy when she did it, if you will, but it was just the weird, like I did not, it was like trying to be artsy yet mainstream. And I just was like, what in God's name am I watching? She barely talked in the thing. There was weird, like Stranger Things music behind every scene. Dude, I don't know, man. So
Well,
anyway,
you know
to the
what?
point.
If we keep doing this, one of your boys comes over, we'll put him in one of the Gimp's outfits and he could come out from behind the couch as the Gimp.
Well, you'd have to have that outfit, which I do not. So,
oh, well, that's the other
I guess we learned something about Scotty tonight. Better call the warden.
All right.
Hey, all right, Freak Show. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Nice.